Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphaneme. I hope you're all doing well out there. I want to point something out, and then we'll jump into these articles here. You ever notice how everybody else is screaming about the tokenization of everything? Now, not before, but now you're starting to hear them talk about the trillions coming in. Everyone's getting in on that tokenization of everything. They know that the flood of capital, the tsunami, is coming in the next few years, I believe. Not financial advice. It's just what I believe, is what I'm saying. So they're getting prepared. But while they're talking, they don't really show what they're doing. Now, Ripple is different. I think Ripple and Stellar, they're in a class of their own as far as activity. But let's just take Ripple, for example, and XRP. Look at what they've been doing. Not only setting up infrastructures, but look at what their, look at their acquisitions. I noticed something interesting with Ripple. You see, there's been a lot of mergers, and you could call them acquisitions as well, in the banking industry. Simultaneously, while that's going on, Ripple has been making acquisitions as well. What was the other one? Medico, and then this one here that they're writing articles about now. I forgot what it's called, but whatever they just acquired. That's strategic, very strategic. They're setting everything up perfectly to get to these prices. In my humble opinion, they want to see XRP fly. They do 100%, but they're setting things up perfectly, meticulously to get to these prices that people keep talking about. Meanwhile, everyone else is just talking. Ripple is actually building. They're actuating things. But let's go here. This is from coinmarketcap.com, and it's titled, "Can XRP overcome $1 barrier and target $15 at some point in the future?" Absolutely. Absolutely. It wouldn't even take much. It wouldn't take a lot at all. Let me tell you something right now. No matter how much people want to deny it, they like to make money. They like to make capital. Now, we are experiencing a massive liquidity drain. Did you see what they did with T-bills in the last 3 days? Did you witness that again? We have an article I'm going to put up just to show you the truth of that. So that's coming in a later chapter. So we're going through a bit of a liquidity drain, but people will come back once they know money can be made. All that would take is multiple announcements of, hey, we're working with this bank, is coming online. This bank is coming online. This bank is coming online. Start dropping names and the FOMO will be out of this world. People are already primed for XRP feeding frenzy. I promise you they are. I promise you they are. When things are bad, people are they easily walk away. But when things are good, they come running with cash in hand, liquidity in hand. Mark my words. Now let's read this little tidbit here. It says, if you have been closely monitoring XRP's price action, you may have stumbled upon discussions around the enigmatic bent fork B, a pattern in historical data that seems to act as both a stumbling block and a launching pad for XRP's price. Once again, I think it's about partnerships. I think it's about announcements. And I'm going to go against the grain, and utility is in there. How would utility not be in there when I'm just going to give you one aspect of utility. Payment channels. Yeah, I'm going to keep talking about payment channels. In payment channels, you can only use XRP. That's a hell of a utility right there. Oh, pardon my phrasing. My apologies, folks. But that's a heck of a utility there. You can only use XRP. It's the best thing they have to offer. The best. Whether they use XRP at a much higher price or they break up those transactions into smaller bits, it doesn't make a difference. But that XRP going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, it doesn't matter if they hold or not. It doesn't make a difference, although that's wiser to hold and you just keep on buying off the market. But whatever, they don't have to hold. But the fact that XRP is constantly in flow, that volume is going to be unbelievable. So yeah, utility definitely is on the table. Boom. Money on the wood makes the betting good. And let me tell you, XRP being used might send that to the moon, right? But let's go here. But a lot of people do rely on the charts. And when it comes to retail, as whimsical as retail is, the charts The charts do well when it comes to retail. I'm not here for retail though, so I look at the big business visionary picture. It says here, so a pattern in historical data that seems to act as both a stumbling block and a launching pad for XRP's price. Let's scroll down here. It says the recent price pump to 93 cents offered a striking example of this pattern's impact. Just when the market was ready to celebrate, XRP met a formidable resistance at Bent Fork B, and prices took a slight step back. Not worried about that at all. When they take a step forward, we're going to step forward with our chest out. That's just how I feel. And then what the world will see. The world will see with XRP, because look at what we've built. We are the new system. Stellar, we are the new system. Algorand has their part to play. H-bar dominating around the world. They don't see what's happening yet. We are going to take over. We are going to dominate. All the data points that way. All the facts point that way. We have the best technologies. But you can look all of that up for yourself, or you could disagree with me, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm going to keep walking on this path. Nothing going to shake me. Simple as that. Now, let's move on here. It says XRP met a formidable resistance. Okay. This resistance has brought the focus back on the $1 mark, a number that serves as both a psychological and technical hurdle for traders and investors alike. Wait a minute. I want to put two things out there. Keep this in mind. Number one, there's a ton of individuals as well as entities that are going to T-bills. They've pulled their liquidity out of all markets. Let me make that clear. All the markets have seen a little bit of a pull from liquidity, from their liquidity, right? They will come back when the time is right. That's number one. Number two, the Fed cannot continue to raise interest rates forever, although I do see them sustaining it for quite some time. When they start bringing interest rates down, it's time to play. That's number two. Number three, they will turn that money printer back on. They have to. They have no choice, folks. This is depression level stuff that people are experiencing, which means what? They'll have to repair the problems that they have caused once again. It's a repeating cycle. How does the Fed repair things? They repair things simply by throwing money at it. That's all they know. Not the Fed, but of course, I know the Fed, U.S. Treasury, they're pretty much hand in hand. So I don't want to get semantical on that. But you all know that, right? They have to turn that money printer back on. Then it's really playtime, folks. Then if you have all this big money telling everyone, article after article after article, I've been reading, folks, about this great wealth transfer that's coming. It's coming. Who knows when? I think in the next few years. But when that flood comes in, people are not going to be ready. And it's not just XRP, XLM, Algorand, and the bank coins. There's a couple other utility coins out there, a couple other good projects, but we don't cover those here. That's up for you that's up for you to find out if you want to look into those things. But let's keep going here. It says the resistance has brought the focus back on the $1 mark, a number that serves as both a psychological and technical hurdle for traders and investors alike. However, one cannot ignore XRP's history of overcoming similar challenges. It'll do it again. Yes, it will. It says, in the world of cryptocurrency, where volatility is the name of the game, breaking psychological barriers like the $1 threshold could provide impetus for further price movement. Once again, folks, I just want to say this once again. I think there may be a little bit more of a pullback. That should be nothing concerning to anyone who has understand the issuing of T-bills. They are feasting right now on T-bills right now. That's going to be felt a little bit later, just like when they issued the trillion T-bills before, and it's being felt now. You've seen that pullback. Now, things were a little bit green when I did see charts a little bit earlier. I don't know how long that's going to last, but it's like, if you can play, play. Not financial advice. I'm just my thoughts. If one can play, they're choosing to play. But I don't know if that's going to be sustained, like I said, because that liquidity drain is coming. We got an article coming up in just a moment. Let's finish this one off, though. It says, as we cautiously look ahead, it's worth considering how past behavior could inform future performance. Could XRP defy expectations across the looming $1 barrier to possibly target $15 valuation? We'll see when the time is right. We're going to stop off there. Let's move on here. So I want to really, really give this to you because, this is information people just don't talk about. It's like some big secret. I don't know why, at least in the crypto sector. And people need to talk about this a little bit more. This is from wealthmanagement.com. Yeah. And it's titled Treasury Bills Yielding 5%. 5% locked in. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, A seemingly insatiable demand for cash is rippling through markets. Everyone, look how they phrase it, folks. Everyone, I told you, didn't I? From moms and pops to corporate treasurers and the mega asset managers is piling in, won over by a unique opportunity to lock in a 5% yield and protect themselves from uncertainty over the U.S. economy. This is what I was trying to tell people about these T-bills for months now. So if they're all going here, where's that money coming from? Where's that capital, that liquidity coming from? It's coming from risk assets. You think they're going to pass this up, this disgusting gains? Absolutely not. They're going to feast. I always find that funny when who was it? Anthony Hopkins did that in Silence of the Lambs. What did he say? What did he say? I like to have her with some or something. I like to eat them with some fava beans and a nice bottle of Chianti. He did the lip thing. What was wrong with this guy? That was Anthony Hopkins, one of the best actors of all time, and I don't think he gets his props. I really don't. You know, he's up there on my list. Anthony Hopkins. Daniel Day-Lewis, Denzel Washington is up there. Al Pacino, another, like people don't give Al Pacino his respect. Are you insane? Scarface, Carlitos Way. Come on now. I mean, I could go on. And De Niro, another one. I see a lot of people. Sorry, just a random little bit here, a little share. But De Niro, have you seen Raging Bull? Raging Bull alone. My goodness. Then if you watch Raging Bull, you're like, wait, you can't do better than this. Then you watch Taxi Driver. What? So anyway, yeah, that's some of my top actors of all time. You know, you want to see some top-notch acting that really moves you. There you go. Okay, let's get back to T-bills. So it says here, with the rates on cash and cash-like instruments at the highest in more than 2 decades, and offering more income than benchmark U.S. debt or stocks. And you believe that they weren't going to go after this? Listen, it's so crazy. Every time we're getting ready to play, the government comes in and says, here's some T-bills. You see how that is? You see, it's like it's strategic. They won't let crypto play because they're going to drain that liquidity one way or the other, whether it's interest rates or T-bills. So you have to have this understanding to understand why there's so much volatility. It's not because crypto is bad. No, people want to play. It's just that when you have something delicious like that, people are going to go towards that. So anyway, it says here, at the highest in more than 2 decades and offering more income than benchmark U.S. debt or stocks, assets in money market funds have swelled to a record. But nowhere is the appetite for liquid, high-yielding instruments more apparent than in the market for T-bills. I don't know why I'm not hearing that word more, folks. Where investors have snapped up more than $1 trillion of new notes in the last 3 months. I've been talking about it. It says, quote, these are attractive yields, so it never made much sense for bills to be stuffed with the dealers for long, unquote, said Thomas Simons, senior economist at Jefferies LLC. We're going to stop right there. I think I made my point. All right. So now that you have that, now let's just move on to this little bit here. Just a little bit. I'm feeling good today. You feeling good today? You feeling okay? Appreciate you, Matthew. Matthew, appreciate you. I love 22. Love Life 22. Akareko, Corey, Head Trauma, Bo Rabbit, Keith. Appreciate all your Asti, Blockchain 663. Shout out to everybody. All right. Pay me an XRP, pay me an XLM. Nick, appreciate all of you. So now this article here is titled, it's from Cointelegraph.com. It's titled, Ripple is staring down an opportunity to fix its closed system. It says Ripple Labs built its XRP token on a centralized system. It says, but with legal action against Ripple coming to a close, it could move toward a more open platform. Let's go down here. It says in July, a United States judge ruled that Ripple Labs XRP. Okay, so we know that part. Let's skip down here. Let's get to the crux of this. It says Ripple was designed to replace the traditional SWIFT system. I'm glad this article writer said that. This is one of the few articles that is putting that truth out there to the forefront. We heard David Schwartz say something similar, I think, recently, but a lot of people try to downplay that now. Like, well, they couldn't do it. They couldn't replace Swift now. No, that's what it was designed to do. They don't have to continuously be saying it. They just have to execute and see how far they can get. That's it. You know, you aim for the star, you shoot for the moon, but you aim for the stars, right? You want to go beyond the moon. You don't want to place a limitation on yourself, but you want to have ambitions, right? So I think that's what Ripple is doing. So we'll see what happens. It says here, and there were valid reasons to do so, as anyone who has experienced the frustration of paying $45 for an international wire transfer that took 4 days to reach its intended recipient can attest. Wait a minute. There's more to this. First of all, who is Swift going to be interacting with in the BRICS nations who don't want to utilize a weaponized Swift system? Who? So then if entities in the United States want to interact with BRICS, they would need a neutral system, correct? In steps Ripple and XRP. So it's not about completely taking over Swift or dominating Swift or eliminating Swift. No, we just need to take a good swath of that business that they're not going to be able to do probably in the next 5 to 10 years as the BRICS nations gain more power. It's not about economies, because all economies globally are doing terribly. The West is doing terribly. Europe is doing terribly. United States is doing terribly. I have some articles on that actually right here for other content that I'm making. So all their economies are doing terribly. All of their fiat currencies are being heavily devalued. Let's put that on the table as well. So it's not about winning so much as it is leveling the playing field. And that's all they're attempting to do, is level the playing field. That's it. So they're going to need a neutral system. It will not be Swift. So that's how I look at that there. That's going to be huge when that capital has to move from the United States to a BRICS nation. If they deny Swift and say, hey, we're not going to use this anymore, or we're only going to use it for certain transactions, because they may wind down their use of Swift gradually to avoid sanctions and all that weaponization. It may happen gradually. But if that occurs, they could choose something like Ripple. Ripple has the best reputation, has the most corridors set up. How can they lose? Think about that for one moment. If they're already trading in local currencies, which is terrible, by the way, absolutely terrible, and localized systems, e-systems, which is terrible as well, just as terrible as any other legacy offering, why would they not choose something better like Ripple or XRPL or XRP-based systems or Volante or whoever's building on the XRPL? I think that they would, or Stellar or Algorand. All right. So it's here, offering an accelerated process untethered by weekend or holiday delays and free of the exorbitant and unpredictable fees associated with Swift transfers. Ripple aimed, and another thing, they could work with Swift. That's not off the table. If Swift is going to work with Chainlink, and they are, then I think they definitely could work with Ripple. They could team up. And let me tell you something, that capital flow would be disgusting. But there's a few things that have to happen before that. Before that, we still have a few hurdles before that time, before that possibility even opens. So, we'll see how it works. And we're waiting on that. You have to have more clarity, more rules for crypto. The go ahead has to be given. That can happen with a BlackRock ETF. That can happen with Congress if they ever get off their tails and actually issue a comprehensive crypto legislation. So there's a lot of different variables involved. And so we're still in the nascent phase, still in the beginning. That's incredible. And we'll see how far we get. It says Ripple aimed to build a crypto product closely mirroring the legacy financial ecosystem. What? Wait, I disagree with that 100%. No, they built a product that is superior in every possible way to all legacy systems, that could even bring commodities onto that platform, that system, smoothly, transferring that value and rendering things that are otherwise illiquid, liquid, so that anybody can transact anywhere at any time. We set the standard. Let's make that clear. We set the standard. They're copying the standard. You can't copy respect, Don DeMarco. Sorry, I had to do that. Everybody who ever watched battle rap, you know what I'm talking about, where I got that from. So anyway, let's move on here. So what I'm taking from this is, listen, some people want them to move towards this area of so-called decentralization, even though everything is getting taken over. Even DeFi is getting dominated and taken over. That's why the BIS researched it. Bitcoin is getting taken over by BlackRock. That's why they're buying up all the miners and mining and all that type of stuff. Look up the articles on that. all the legacy system is going to do what it does. It's about what are you going to do with the capital if you make a lot of capital? Are you going to untether from those systems if that is what you choose? But I think at the core of everything, people are here more so just to make a disgusting amount of capital if it's possible. Just my humble opinion. I can't put out all thoughts and I can't talk about everything in this little short video, but I think you get the gist of it. Let's move on here. We have a few more XRP articles, and then we'll get to some stellar news because they're dropping a lot. We got a lot to unpack over these next few days. They gave us some good stuff here. So this article here is from Cointelegraph.com, and it is titled XRP Bucks Trend as Crypto Assets Experience Fourth Straight Week of Outflows. Let's scroll down here, see what they're talking about. It says here, cryptocurrency asset outflows for the week of September 3rd through 9th total $59 million, bringing the current run to $249 million over 4 consecutive weeks. Bitcoin experienced the bulk of activity last week, with its $68 million in outflows, offset by short Bitcoin inflows in the amount of $15 million. It says, according to CoinShares, regulatory and financial market insecurity are to blame for the streak. Quote, we believe continued worries over regulation of the asset class and recent dollar strength are the most likely reasons for this. You mean that massive amount of T-bills and bonds and everything else doesn't play a part? The possibility of continued heightened interest rates doesn't affect everything. I think that they do. Trading, I would beg to differ. It says trading volumes also dropped significantly by 73% in comparison to the prior week to just $754 million for the week. Last week also brought it into Solana's. Wait a minute, get the XRP. Where is the XRP information? I don't have any Solana or Bitcoin. What is going on here? Let's scroll down. My word, I don't even. What? Wait, XRP in the title it was. Where's the XRP information? What is going on here? Okay, they have XRP in the chart. So was the weekly flows 700,000? Was it $700,000? Is that what's on here? They're going by millions, aren't they? Right. So it says 0.7. I'm taking that as $700,000, I suppose. All right. So we're gonna move on from there. Oh man, so these articles make me laugh sometimes. So this article here is from the CryptoBasic.com and it's titled 100 million XRP transfer fuels market buzz. Is that so? Because I didn't think anything of it at all. It says here, did Ripple sell to fund buyout? If they did, good. Anything that makes the XRPL better or brings XRP to new markets or brings the value of the tokenization of everything, all those trillions to the chain so that it could possibly flow through XRP. That's what I want. We're building for the future, are we not? It says here, furthermore, Ripple's 100 million XRP movement comes at a time when the crypto community is speculating about Ripple selling parts of its XRP holding to fund a recent acquisition. Yeah, acquisition that could bring a ton of money. It says, recall that Crypto Basic reported that Ripple recently acquired Fortress Trust. Notably, the acquisition comes amid recent security breach impacting 4 of Fortress Trust's users. According to a report, Ripple has stepped in with funds to salvage the affected users. All right, so be it. It says, in light of the revelation, pro-XRP attorney Bill Morgan expressed that it was possible Ripple sold XRP to finance the Fortress bailout. His views stemmed from the significant bearish trend in XRP's performance. Meanwhile, Morgan noted that the bearish trend is a general market state. There's a lot going on, as I covered earlier in the video. Not an XRP exclusive event. It says, in response, other prominent figures in the XRP community, such as Moon Lambo, pointed out that Ripple possessed a significant liquid capital to finance the acquisition without recourse to selling much XRP. It says, meanwhile, a review of Well Alert's records revealed fine details concerning Ripple's massive XRP movement. Whale Alert's records indicated that the recent 100 million XRP transfer was not the first time of its kind from Ripple. You know what? Listen. In the world, a lot of people they lean pessimistic. They lean to the negative. And there's an old ancient teaching that says that the pendulum swings equally to the left as it does to the right, but it begins in the left. The left is typically thought to be historically speaking, in ancient times as well, is thought to be negative. My apologies if I'm not eloquent, but it's thought to be negative. So it swings from the negative to the positive, from nothing to something. So people typically originally in the lean pessimistically is what I've observed, but that's okay. I mean, it's up to you to allow that thinking to satiate your mind, right? To saturate, not satiate. My apologies. To saturate your mind. Like, you don't have to look at it that way. You can look at, there's so many different positives that could be drawn from this and say, well, they could have used it for this. They could have used this for that. All of those options being positive, building towards something or helping with something. It doesn't necessarily have to initially be something negative like, woe is me, they did this. This could hurt XRP. The price is down. It doesn't have to be that way. Each individual is in control of their own mind. That sounds simple, but most people don't apply that. They're affected by so many things externally that, I mean, it would be difficult to say that most people have control over themselves because everything else affects them to a degree where clearly the external world is what has control over them. You get what I'm saying? So it's a rare thing and a difficult thing, but one can control their own mind and what they feel and how they interpret these different things without the effect of others, without the effect of external forces. Also, in ancient times, there was a prince that said to a greater being in this ancient tale that it's as hard to control the mind as it is to control the wind. But the greater being told this prince, yes, but it can be done with great difficulty, So it's not going to be easy. So, with these types of things, I look at them and I see the positives of what could be, as opposed to others, which, all due respect to them, may see things in a more negative light. To each his own, right? I walk my path, they walk theirs, and you must walk your own. But I say, if you're going to walk one and you want to be great, you want to reach for greatness, you want to see that next level, you have to have a winning mind, and a winning mind stays positive and says, I'm going to get to the top, and we're going to see, we're not going to be blind to the negatives, but we're going to focus on where we want to end up, which is not in the negative. We understand the negatives. Let's avoid the pitfalls. Let's focus on the top of the mountain and get there. One hold at a time, one step at a time. Nothing can stop us. Whatever you have to tell yourself, you polarize your mind in that positive point and you dominate. You don't stop. You keep going forward. Nothing can stop you except yourself. If your mind is strong enough, and you have to strengthen it, it's like a muscle, then with the good energies that you develop, that you cultivate, generate, nothing can stop you. So you must always, and it's a battle every day, you must always battle to keep your mind in that positive point, that positive pole, and you can be greater than you have ever known, and you will be greater than anyone around you because possibly be aware of. Only you know how bright you can shine, but you cannot do that if you polarize your mind in the negative. You cannot do that if you polarize your mind in the darkness, then you cannot shine. Like takes unto the like. All right, so now let's move on here. A little bit of Stellar news. Oh yeah. Come on, Stellar. Tell me some good stuff here. Tell me some good things here. So, of course, we had a lot released today by Stellar, but I want to start with this article here from stellar.org, and it's titled "The Benefits and Cost of Sending Money Home." Stellar is smart. They're smart. All right. Now it says here remittances, money sent to families and friends back home in low and middle income countries by international migrants rose to nearly $650 billion in 2022. The true size of these flows, including flows that are not recorded in official statistics, is believed to be even larger. I know that for a fact is even larger. Just from the life that I've lived, I know a lot of people that have come from a lot of different places, and they have to send money that's not on record. Let's put it that way. So yeah, there's a lot that's not accounted for. It says the record amount of remittances is more than 3 times the total development aid. It says even more impressive, remittances have surpassed the foreign direct investment flows to developing countries. Remittances reduce poverty. They provide funds to households for purchasing food. You see where this is going? I promise you, in the future, Stellar is trying to set itself up to become the major or main way to move remittances in the United States. I'm going there. Yep, I'm going there. Not just around the world. They're trying to take the whole world too as well. It's funny to me that Stellar embodies a lot of what Ripple said. Where Ripple's like, we want to be the world reserve currency. We want to take over SWIFT. Stellar thinks the same way. They're just doing it in a different way. They're trying to dominate in every possible way. They can't fool me. I see what's happening. Look how they're talking. And there's another article I believe I have about Latin America, right? They see where everything's going. So you have this big flow of people back and forth. This is what mainstream media doesn't tell you. There's a big stream of people going from the United States into Latin America. I told you that before, didn't I? Did you see the articles? All these people flooding into Mexico, into different parts, right? Mexico City is all the rage now. Mexico City, the Yucatan, and so until they're driving prices up. They've been driving prices up, right? But moving there, Colombia, Ecuador, Guatemala, right? All these expats and giant expat communities that just goes unspoken of because they don't want people to know. There's people flooding out of the United States, not just to Latin America, but a bunch of places. But Stellar sees that and they're saying, wait a minute, there's a lot of money coming from Latin America going to America because those expats send money home. That's another thing. A lot of them are digital nomads. Now in Latin America, you have the digital nomad visas. You know about that, right? So you can work from that country for your job that's in the United States, but you still have family over in the United States. You send them money back. So it's not just anymore money coming from the United States and being sent to Latin America, but there's a lot of money coming from Latin America being sent to the United States. Look all of this up. Don't just take my word for it. If you don't want to, just look this up. You're going to find out. So what Stellar is saying is, hey, we see that. We're making our move. We're putting ourselves on the map. We're reintroducing ourselves. We're saying, hey, this is what we're focused on. This is what we're doing. Not just but we're going to be that backbone. They want to be backbone. Okay. So I think with future crypto legislation to bring further clarity to everything else, just, because right now only Bitcoin and XRP have that outright clarity. As far as I know, I think with that, you're going to see stellar domination. It's going to take some time. Hopefully things can move a little bit faster, but this is what they're hinting at. Look at all the articles they released today. It says here, quote, yet a major roadblock to sending money across international borders continues to be cost. Multiple currency conversions, exchange controls, and a lack of interoperable payment systems all add to the expense of sending money. What they just said, really, if you want to interpret it, my interpretation is we are superior to the legacy system. We have what you need, come to us. And that means there's a lot of capital in the future that's going to flow across Stellar. If they're keeping this mind state up, I'm going to tell you right now. So remittance, this is my humble opinion. You could disagree with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I know what I think about Stellar, and I'm going to continue forward on this path with XLM and Stellar. Simple as that. It says remittance service providers, especially commercial banks, they're attacking the commercial banks. Why? Why would you think they do that? Oh, you sneaky Stellar. You see Ripple going after commercial banks. You want a piece? Take the piece. Take the piece. Do me the favor. Take the piece. It says tend to charge fees in excess of 6%. The fees on remittances to Africa are often higher than 8%. Lowering the fees by 5% points is technologically feasible, and it'll save migrants. I don't like when they write that. I'm just going to say it would save migrants and their families over $30 billion a year, which with $30 more billion they have to play with, by the way. So for comparison, this saving would be similar in magnitude to the annual aid budget of the United States, the largest donor country. Reducing the cost of remittances, therefore, is low-hanging fruit. It says money transfer operators tend to provide remittance services at a lower cost than commercial banks. But the lowest, they keep attacking commercial banks. So they want to do what those commercial banks were doing, is what they're saying, which is how much capital? You see? Real sneaky. They use this coded language at Stellar. But it's getting very obvious, isn't it? It says digital remittances sent using mobile phone technology greatly increases the efficiency of remittance transactions because they know they're dominant there in that way. It says the sender and the recipient don't have to physically travel to an agent location. We can skip that little piece there. It says perhaps more importantly, smartphones can make customer identification easier. That I don't care about at all. Customer identification and all that, tracking all the people. I don't care about. Let's talk money. It It says, while fees charged by remittance services providers are on a downward trend, not as low as ours is dirt cheap. Come over to Stellar, baby. It says the fees associated with converting currencies remain high and sticky. And that's what we want. We want them to continue to do bad in the legacy system so people will turn to us when it's our time to shine. All right, now, there's so much here. Maybe we'll come back to this article. I need to get to the next article. They gave us a lot to tear apart. Now, this is what I like. Stellar, keep it coming because I like this. So, now, this is a page on stellar.org titled Felix-Bitso. It's part of their, like, let's how did they phrase it? Let us reintroduce ourselves, right? So it says, this is Felix and Bitso. Felix is a WhatsApp based payment. It says Felix is a WhatsApp based payments platform that enables US based Latino immigrants to send money back to their relatives in Latin America, combining AI and blockchain technology. See, I told you. Everybody's combining AI with the DLTs. Remember, we talked about this about maybe 2 years ago. What we talked about the combination of the DLTs with AI with quantum computing. It's just that quantum computing, although they've made leaps and bounds with it, is lagging a little bit. The world's not ready for that yet. It says here, combining AI and blockchain technology, sending remittances on Felix is meant to be as easy as humanly possible. That's what I want to hear. And that's what's going to bring the money. Make it easy for people to use. People don't want complication at all. So make it super easy. Talk that money to me, Stellar. All right, let's go down here. They got the little section on Bitso. Bitso, with over 5 million users, Bitso is the largest cryptocurrency platform in Latin America, with operations currently based in Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia. It says, as a part of its services, Bitso provides on and off ramps currently for its clients in Mexico and Colombia, and is looking to scale this coverage soon. It's still growing. All right, so I'm going to leave off there. We're going to come back. I'm sorry, something else caught my eye. They have remittances, a manual process. They are just tearing down the legacy system. Go Stellar. I like it. I'm not a friend to the legacy system at all, so, it's just how I feel. All right. So we're going to close out actually with this here. We have this information, Franklin Templeton. I like what they're doing. I'm going to go out on a limb here in a second. This is from coindesk.com. Franklin Templeton, a Stellar associate. All right. A company that is using a Stellar based product. It says Franklin Templeton joins Bitcoin ETF race. The financial services heavyweight joins its brethren BlackRock, Fidelity, and others in vying for a spot Bitcoin ETF. Why did they never mention Valkyrie? Valkyrie's been making some big moves. I don't understand that. But anyway, let's scroll down here. Franklin Templeton filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF Tuesday, becoming the latest traditional asset management firm to join the crowded race. In a filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, Franklin Templeton proposed a Coinbase custodied ETF that would trade on Cboe BZX Exchange Incorporated. It has not yet proposed a ticker for the product. Franklin Templeton follows BlackRock and other financial heavyweights who have bet that the SEC may soon allow, or perhaps even be forced by the courts to allow, a spot Bitcoin ETF to hit the public markets. Wait a minute. So if Bitcoin, once again, if Bitcoin gets an ETF, first of all, that could definitely spark off or pop off the next bull run. I want it. It's going to be a fun time. That's number one. Of course, there's a lot we have to go against because, like I said, they're trying hard to not let us play, issuing all these T-bills and bonds and such and disgusting yield that's going to drain liquidity. So we have a bit of a uphill battle, but we can battle. We can battle. But that's number one. It could pop off that next bull run. Number two, if Bitcoin gets an ETF, why wouldn't XRP in the future get an ETF? In the future, things are changing rapidly. But if that is the case, Franklin Templeton, a Stellar associate. XLM is listed as a currency on Coinbase. Also, XLM had clarity in New York. They listed it as a currency in New York. Now, I'll say this. What is the likelihood, folks? Yep, I'm about to jump out there. I'm jumping out the window on this one. Why wouldn't XLM be able to get an ETF? Maybe there's something I don't know. I don't proclaim to know everything. I don't. I'm not trying to be a know-it-all at all. Maybe there's some technical reason why they might not. But Franklin Templeton has built on Stellar, so they're aware of XLM. You think they're not? They have the best advisors on the planet. Wisdom Tree is using Stellar, built Wisdom Tree Prime on Stellar. They know about XLM, right? Okay. Franklin Templeton wants an ETF for Bitcoin. Why wouldn't they also propose an ETF for a cryptocurrency that they're slightly associated with? They're not using XLM directly, but they know about it because of the system that they're building on, which is Stellar, which means that everything has to interact with XLM at some point anyway, even if it's to a minor degree, correct? Correct. Every Stellar account and everyone building on Stellar must have a modicum of lumens. They know about it. So why wouldn't XLM be able to get an ETF in the future? In the future, I know all the big stuff is going to come first, but that doesn't negate or change the possibility, does it? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. We're a group. It's a team effort here. You know, hopefully sometimes people learn something from me. And a lot of times I do learn a lot from a lot of people. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.